While this is happening, you make an inner vow that this isn't going to be anything I'm going to partake in. And I would never do this to one of them. Like you learn from it, or you repeat it. The highest functioning people take all of the things that happen to, like I spent a big hunk of my life around alcoholics. My father was an alcoholic, and he finally left and abandoned it. My mother remarried 10 years later. Life gives exams. If you don't get it, she remarried my father in a different...
Hello, and welcome to the Pacific Channel, where you learn about the law of attraction, how to manifest anything you want, meditation, and more. In this video, Dr. Wayne Dyer talks about how his astronaut friend, Edgar Mitchell, had a spiritual experience while he was in space. In Zen, they call this spiritual experience Satori, which means instant awakening. This awakening led him to create the Institute of Noetic Sciences, where he was lecturing all around the world about the spiritual consequences of space travel. The point Dyer makes is that we are all in this together. We are all from the same source, from the same energy. We are one universe, singing one song together. Uni meaning one, and verse meaning song. In this short audio of Dr. Dyer, he also talks about how to let go of all the bad things in the past and see them as perfect. The contrast or the bad things that happened to you not only made you a better person, but they helped you to find your purpose. Without further delay, let's listen to Dr. Dyer.
And he said he had this what they call in Zen a satori, an instant awakening. And in this instant awakening, he realized that this is an intelligent system that we're all a part of. There's an intelligence to this system. It's not some accidental fluke. And I said, Edgar, wouldn't you think that you would have been aware of that before you got in the capsule? He said, no, we had always been taught that we were to master it rather than to get in harmony with it. And he said that instant changed his life forever. And he left the space program, the Apollo program, when he came back, and he founded the Institute for Noetic Sciences and has been lecturing all around the world about the spiritual consequences of space travel and how it can really dramatically affect your life when you get out there and see that this is an intelligent system that we're all a part of. And if you know that this is an intelligent system that we're all a part of, then you know that your life is also a part of that intelligence. And that the same intelligence that flows through those planets and allows them to align and allows the galaxies to stay in place and allows us to move at thousands of miles per hour, which we're all doing right now, even though our senses tell us something different. We're all hurling through space at thousands of miles per hour. As Einstein said, it talked about relativity. It's all relative. Nietzsche had a great conundrum that'll help you to understand Einstein's theory of relativity. He said, all things being relative, what time does Munich stop at this train? That'll get you going. So this intelligence, this divine intelligence, this invisibleness, this organizing intelligence that flows through everything is also flowing through you. And through everything. It's not like there's a separate intelligence for you and a separate one for me and a separate God for you and a separate God for you. It isn't like that. This is a one verse song. A one song, a universe. It's all one. And there's an intelligence about it all. And so in order to be able to banish the doubt about your capacity to manifest miracles for yourself in your life, you have to know that your life is a part of this intelligence and that it, like everything else, from the tiniest little microscopic dot to the galaxies and the cosmos, all has a purpose. There's a purpose to it all. And now when you get that and banish the doubt, you begin to realize that everything that has happened to you up until this moment, right now, is a part of that intelligence. It's all part of that. See, what you have to learn is that I read a wonderful line when I was down in Australia by an actress who was talking, and she concluded it with, she said, if you want to make God laugh, tell her your plans. See, God's plan works, essentially, and yours doesn't. Basically. It's like becoming a spiritual being really means shifting away from your plans and allowing yourself into this divine perfection. And when you do that, one of the first things that you do is you let go of everything that ever happened to you up until now as being anything other than perfect. See, if your life has a heroic mission, and it's a part of this intelligence, and it showed up out of nothing. You see, a heart starts beating inside of a mother's womb 6 or 7 weeks after conception, and it's a total, complete mystery to everybody on the planet. We have no idea where that life was before, what it is, how it's going to become what it is. I hold my little boy's hand up. He's 5 years old now, and his hand is like, about a third the size of mine. And I look at his hand and I say, it's not like that hand is going to grow and become the size of mine. I mean, it isn't going to grow. He's going to need new bones in there. He's going to need a whole new hand, isn't he? It isn't what he's got is just going to get bigger. That has to die, and it has to be replaced, and replaced, and replaced, and replaced. And eventually he'll have a hand like this. And it's going to come out of what? This is the 1993 model of Wayne Dyer that you're looking at here today. It's very different than the 1958 model that graduated from high school. As a matter of fact, that model in 1958 is dead. Every single cell in it is gone and died and been replaced and replaced and replaced and replaced. I don't have one cell, not one molecule left in me that was there before. You can't find any of it. It's all new. And yet here I am with some knowings that I had back then. The knowings that I have are not physical in nature, they're metaphysical, they're beyond the physical. Someone defined life with a great definition as a sexually transmitted, incurable disease. I mean, it just keeps dying and dying, and proof of life after death is that you're here today. So you don't need any more proof than that. The whole physical you has gone many times, and yet here you are. And why would you think that when it leaves for what you think is the last time, that life itself, this invisibleness that has no boundaries and no form, wouldn't proceed and continue? You can't kill that which has no boundaries, can you? Getting to this awareness that your life has a mission means that everything that has happened to it up until now was leading you to that mission. So that all of the people that you blame and all of the things that you think shouldn't have happened or wouldn't have happened or couldn't have happened, all of that is just a lot of nonsense. It all did. And even the abuse and the struggle and the tough times and the fact that your mother liked your sister better, even if you don't have a sister, she wanted one, she would have liked her better, blame her for that. You're a middle child, you're a youngest, you're the oldest. It's like you signed up for all of that. I mean, it's a nice way to look at it. Let's just get back of it and say, hey, I signed up for all of it. Even the abuse, even the tough things. I spent the first 10 years of my life in an orphanage. And in those 10 years, I was moved around to a lot of strange places. But I believe that for me, my purpose, obviously, is being actualized to this day. And it's about helping to teach people self-reliance and magic and miracles and a whole new way of looking at things. That's what my whole life is about. And you don't learn these things through instruction. You don't learn these things by somebody else telling them to you. You've got to learn them through the direct experience of it. It's almost as if God said, all right, here you are. You showed up, and you want to teach people about self-reliance? Get your little ass into an orphanage for 10 years. And learn how to do that. Learn how to rely on yourself. Become inner-directed. Become self-directed. And don't complain about it, and don't whine about it, and find something beautiful in it. And that's what we do when we're children. We don't wake up when we're an orphan and when we're a child every day and say, oh my God, I'm an orphan again today. It's Wednesday. I was one yesterday, now it's tomorrow. When is this going to end? You don't do that. You wake up and you deal with what you have to deal with. And you get on with your life. And now you can look back at your life, and most people look back at the experiences of their life and say to themselves, if only it would have been different. If only. And there is no if only in there. It was all in order. Life gives exams. Bernie and I and Joan had dinner together last night, and we were talking about the variables that we see in highly successful people. And we got to talking, and each one of us sort of told little stories about things about people we knew or about ourselves. And I said, finally, there's a thread that runs through all of this. There are people who go through life and have really tough experiences. Most of the time when you read about people who abuse their children, and you interview them, you find that, what? They were abused as children. I mean, it's something that you all know. You can shout it out. And then there are some who were abused as a child. I was one, not viciously, but on some occasion. And while this is happening, you make an inner vow that this isn't going to be anything I'm going to partake in. And I would never do this to one of them. Like, you learn from it, or you repeat it. The highest functioning people take all of the things that happen to them. Like, I spent a big hunk of my life around alcoholics. My father was an alcoholic, and he finally left and abandoned it. My mother remarried 10 years later. Life gives exams. If you don't get it, she remarried my father in a different body. Another man who was abusive and abandoned and who was an alcoholic. Another man who was abusive and abandoned and who was an alcoholic. So I spent a lot of my younger years around that. And for me, it was easy. I saw what booze did to people and made the choice not to have that as a part of my life. Whereas my brother, who was with me through all of this, made the choice for many, many, many years to be an alcoholic. Like, you take the things that come along, and when you get to that spiritual place in your life, you begin to see that these things all have great lessons in them. And instead of saying to yourself, why is this happening to me? Isn't this awful? Poor me. You begin to say, what do I have to learn from this? Because you have banished the doubt that this is some sort of freak accident that you're in, and you begin to see that this is an intelligent system that you're all a part of. And understanding how to banish the doubt really starts with knowing the difference between that which you believe and that which you know. You see, all of the things that you believe, all of your beliefs, are handed to you throughout your life. They come from outside of you. So when you are born, and then you get into a family, and in that family, then you go to school, and you go through religious experiences, and you have all of your friends and so on, and you're constantly being given a whole set of beliefs. And you can see the real trauma of that on the planet today in Yugoslavia, Herzegovina, and Bosnia, where young people are taught who they're supposed to hate from things that happened hundreds of years before. And the hatred is so bitter with people who've never even seen each other. They have this, and you can see it in the Middle East, and you can see it. You can see it virtually in all the places where there's enormous conflicts. It's called prejudice, prejudging. So, in order to understand how to get past this, you have to understand there are some things that you believe, and there are some things that you know. Now, your knowings are different from your beliefs in that your beliefs are handed to you. Your knowings all come from within. Everything that you know because you got it yourself.
It is a very reassuring thing to know that we are all in this thing we call life together. It is society and political systems that want to divide us into categories and make us believe in scarcity, believe in hate, believe that your neighbor is your enemy. But the truth is, as Dyer explains, we are all spiritual beings having a human existence. We all come from the same energy, source energy. It may be hard to take that you signed up for the difficulties in your life, but without the bad things, you wouldn't be who you are today. You wouldn't have gained those valuable lessons. You are here to experience the contrast. Without contrast, there would be no photo. Without contrast, you wouldn't really know what you want in life. So be grateful for every bad person or bad experience that ever showed up in your life, and see those bad things as blessings that have helped you to become and be more. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and now let this information sink into your heart and mind so that you truly let go of the past and embrace the wonderful, infinite now. You deserve it.